Hey guys, how are you? Chef Joe Tarantino, restaurant operator and consultant. Today we're going to go over on how to properly present a check. This is great for servers. I definitely want your feedback from guests that dine out and tell me what you think, so please feel free to comment. Make sure you guys let me know where you're watching from too as well. So it's a very small detail that goes missed all the time in the restaurant business, and it's critical. There's a couple different methods of presenting a check. For lunchtime and for dinner. So those of you that are getting ready to get started in the restaurant operations, practice these good habits now so you can carry them forward. And then of course you need to enforce those policies and procedures, especially if you adopt them. You need to make sure that they're in act continuously. And for those of you that are in operation, you probably already heard of this, but yet you're not practicing it or enforcing it. Every little piece that you learn, whether you've been with corporate dining, on your own, if you haven't heard, these pieces are critical and all help to generate revenue. Sounds simple, sounds easy, you're like, yeah, whatever. I'm telling you right now, these are all different ways that I'm sharing with you to help increase sales and increase numbers and gratuity for you servers that may be watching this, because it's going to make your guests happy. So anyway, we're at my house. Actually, I'm in Georgia, so please feel free to tell me where you're from. I do watch these all the time, and I'd like to know where you guys are from. And like I said, guests, let us know what you think about the stuff that I'm sharing with y'all, so us restaurant operators can be like, oh wow, right? The guest really cares about that. That's what the guest really wants. Because really, yeah, we're in business to make money, but we can't make money without you, the guest. So your feedback is more critical than any restaurant operator that's out there, because you're the one that is coming in that we want to make happy for the most part. Anyone like myself that's passionate about restaurant business and food, we want to make sure that guest is extremely happy. Even if we make a mistake, that guest should never leave that building without a smile on their face, and then you've had a successful day. So anyway, let's talk about check presentation. As you can see, I have a makeshift table set up in my place here. Don't mind the red Solo cups. I don't like doing dishes when I'm at home. I get enough of that during the day in the restaurants. We have the New England Patriots dining with us, well, ex-New England Patriots, I should say. We got Tom Brady sitting here, and we got Rob Gronkowski sitting here. So we're going to go over lunch presentation of check. So at lunchtime, people only have about 30 minutes. You got 30 minutes to maybe 45. You got to take into consideration the drive time that the guest has to get to you, especially if you're kind of out of beaten path, which most of my places that I've been at, due to location, it's taken people time to get to my locations. And there's nothing worse than when a guest takes 10 minutes to get to you, they got a 30-minute break, and then they got to wait 20 minutes and barely have enough time to finish their lunch. They really need to get in and get out. So, and we can work on menu stuff later, which will help you with that. But this is one of the important pieces of check presentation at lunch. All right, so your guests are done, sitting here dining. They've already got their food. They're, let's see, 2-bite check back, and we'll talk about that later. Your guests are eating. You've already delivered their food. Couple minutes goes by. You make sure their glasses are full, of course, and then you're going to come by and say, here, guys, I'm just going to set this here for you. I'm going to leave it out of the way. If you'd like to add something on, feel free. I just want to deliver this check for your convenience, because I know you're probably in a rush for lunch. The guest is going to appreciate that. There's nothing worse than at lunchtime, especially. I mean, it stinks all the way around, but at lunchtime when the guest is having to search for the server, because at lunch restaurants get bombarded with people. So the server's going to be busy and probably forget to bring the check over there. But if you put it in the habit when you do your 2-bite check back, because that should always be done, when you do the 2-bite check back, how are your meals? Everything's good? Da 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 da. Can I get you anything else right at the moment? No, we're fine. Thank you. Well, I'm going to leave the check here for your convenience. And if you would like to add anything else, feel free. This is, just basically for their convenience. And when you set the check down, you want to set it up like this. And I'll tell you why in just a minute. But that's how you want to do your lunch check delivery, okay? And then when you come back and the guest, doesn't want anything else, they're going to be ready. And I'll show you how you'll know that they're ready, because this is also a flagging system for our servers and managers that run through the restaurant. All right, so now, dinner service and lunch service. Whenever you present the check to the table, whether it be at lunchtime when you do it early, or at the end after you've offered your desserts and your dessert drinks and all that other good stuff, you want to make sure that when you deliver the check, in this case, we have 2 gentlemen dining with us, if you will, which I can't believe they're playing for the Bucks, but whatever. Anyway, You're going to set the guest check standing up, and like I said, I'll explain that in a second, why it's pivotal to stand the guest check up. You want to make sure you stand that guest check in the center of the two guests. Never say, oh, well, I think Gronk makes more money, so I'm going to place it in front of Gronkowski. He's going to take care of the bill. Oh, you know what? Brady's a superstar. He got the bill. And then offend Gronkowski. You don't want to offend anybody. Now, if the guest asks you that they want to take care of the bill, the first person that asks is the person that should pay for the bill. But if they don't ask, simply set the check down in the middle of the table. And by the way, I want to thank Ocean Galley out of Statesboro, Georgia. Any of you watching, if you're ever traveling through Georgia and you happen to be around the Statesboro area, make sure you stop by. Excellent seafood. I ran by there last night, grabbed this check presenter, and as you can see, they're very busy because this sucker's worn out. So they're doing a good job over there. But anyway, you want to make sure that the guest can decide who's going to pay for it if they do not ask. If they don't ask, in the center. Man, woman, doesn't matter, because you never know. The lady could be taking the man out, or the man could be struggling and not have the money on him, and then you're going to sit it in front of him because everybody knows 9 times out of 10 the gentleman's going to pay for the female's meal, but you don't know if it's a business. You don't know if he's going through tough times, so you give it to him. He's already coming out to eat, trying to enjoy it, and feeling guilty enough that he can't pay for the food, and you just put the check in front of him. Then he's going to feel even worse. So you want to make it as enjoyable as possible and leave those decisions up to the guest. So set it right down in the center. Now, you deliver your check. The guest will say, all right, let me take care of this now. If not, they're still talking, whatever. The guest check's here. You leave it, and you walk away. Now, how do you know when the guest is ready? Without having them... Sorry, my ducks are moving. My little chickens. I got some chickens today. But anyway, how do you know when the guest is ready to pay? Without them coming to ask you for their check. Because that's the worst thing in the world. The guest should never have to ask for their check. Aggravates the heck out of me. We should know. If you can't handle your small section, then you need a smaller section. 2 tables, so you can give awesome service, because you will make more money with a smaller section than a large section getting 10%. I'd rather have 2 tables and make 20% off both in gratuity than having 6 tables and hardly get anything because my service is terrible. So anyway, how do you know? Well, Gronkowski looks like he's going to pay today. He's the one with the card. Good job, Gronk. So anyway, what the guest is going to do is 9 times out of 10, they're going to slide that in there. Now, obviously, this is standing up, so Gronk's picking up his check, looking at it, sticks the card in, and then he's going to set it down here. Instant flag. You got the card sticking out. You got the check presenter laying down. You know the guest has looked at it. They're ready to go. If the server's busy, the manager better have his butt on the floor, and he should be overseeing everything. Any of you that know me in the restaurant business, I do this thing called a figure 8. That's something else we're talking about. You should know every single thing that's going on in that restaurant front to back. All the time. Every time. So anyway, that's how the servers, the management team, and everybody know that the guest is ready to pay. So if the server's busy, another server walking by should be like, oh, hey, I can take that for you. I'll give this to Jessica, who's your server. Give it to Jessica, whatever. She's going to take care of it, bring it back, and then you go from there. But this is a flagging technique to let us know that the guest is ready to pay. It doesn't offend anybody. These are things that a lot of times we don't think about or teach people. And these are things that corporations, big corporations, that's why they got hundreds of these different chains. I'm not going to mention any names. And they're successful because 9 times out of 10, they follow these policies. And if they're not, that means the management team is failing in those restaurants, because they're not enforcing these small little steps that make a huge difference for guest service. So remember, sum it all up. At lunch, you want to take your check right after the 2-bite check back, and I'll do another video on the 2-bite check back, which is critical. So anyway, the 2-bite check back, you're going to come back after the food's delivered, after 2 bites. You're going to come check on them, see how they're doing at lunchtime, which you should do lunch and dinner. The only difference at lunch is you're delivering the check after that 2-bite check back. And you're going to set this down so it's standing straight up, and then we're going to get flagged because either the guest will offer to pay you then, or they'll look at it when they're ready, set it down, and then the time's on them. They're not waiting on you. You are now waiting on them. So now that alleviates any kind of complaints for a guest going around looking for their checks, for time, and all that other good stuff. So I thank you for watching. Check out my Tarantino's Little Italy, Statesboro, Georgia Facebook page. Ton of stuff on there. I travel, I do a live stream show on Facebook, and I transfer it over to here. This YouTube channel is going to be filled with tons of info that's going to help grow your business, grow your brand, grow your products, and save thousands and thousands. I travel all over the place, willing to travel all over the place to help you with your business, whether it be pre-existing or existing right now, and you're trying to figure things out. Take it from me, I started from scratch. I've had 4 different restaurants, 3 that fell apart, 2 that never came to pass, and I'm still going strong. And if it was not for the training that I had, I would not be here talking to you about this now. Years and years and years of training, it all works. I know how to implement it. I can tell you what's wrong with your restaurant just by spending a day there. Just a few hours, I can start saving you money right off the bat with just simple little tricks, and then all this adds up. Because remember, you may be losing 50 cents that day, but what's 50 cents times 365 days in a year? Or how many times a day are you losing 50 cents times 365 days a year? Adds up, big money, and that's going to be the difference between a negative and a positive P&L. So little things like this help out tremendously. I hope this helps you. Please subscribe to the page. Check out my Tarantino's Little Italy. And I'll talk to you again soon about some more stuff that can help you grow your business. Financials, guest service we're going to go over, food safety, I mean, you name it, it's going to be covered. And it's a lot of fun, and I love sharing this stuff with you, and I want to see us all succeed. And like I said before, I want to flip that thing with the bank saying that we're the highest failure rate in the business. If we use these tools that I'm showing you in that other places that you may have learned that you're not putting into effect, you need to get them into effect right away. That's how you're going to save. And it doesn't matter what your location is, believe me, because when I started with $0 and had to start in small locations where I had hardly any people in there, and kept pushing, building, and using these critical tools that were taught to me, and that's how I'm able to continue on in the restaurant business. And I want to help you do the same. So God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sharing, and you have a wonderful day. Thank you.